Good morning or good day, whenever you're tuning into this video, Gibson family. It's morning as I record it. The windows are open again. I hear the birds. I see the birds outside my window. This morning I was on a bike ride and came face to face with a deer. Not dangerously so, but just in awe. Just a beautiful summer morning. So I'm touching base with you again on our reading together and our listening in the Gospel of John. And of course, there are many things that strike me and probably strike you as we've been reading through each day this week. But the one that I wanted to just focus in on was from, I don't remember if it was yesterday's passage or the day before, but it's from John 16. And Jesus is talking about the Holy Spirit. Jesus is talking about his leaving, but that when he leaves, and it's necessary, interestingly, it's necessary for him to leave his disciples physically so that his spirit can come. But Jesus says in verse 7, chapter 16, verse 7, "But very truly I tell you, it is for your good that I'm going away. Unless I go away, the advocate will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you." First of all, I love that name for the Holy Spirit, the advocate. What is an advocate? Isn't an advocate someone who is for you, someone who is in your corner? To think of the Holy Spirit as being for you, for me. The Holy Spirit is on our side, so to speak, our advocate. I love that name. But then Jesus says, when he comes, he will prove the world to be in the wrong about sin and righteousness and judgment. And then Jesus elaborates on that. But what struck me there, he will prove the world to be in the wrong. The Holy Spirit convicts. You may have heard me say that before. I think that I, as a human being, as even a pastor, I'm a lousy convictor of sin. I can't even convict myself of my own sin sometimes. But the Holy Spirit is the one who convicts. And sometimes I think we confuse our role in the church. We confuse our role as Jesus followers. And sometimes we take that role on ourselves to be the convictor of sin. When in reality, we are meant to be that community of people that does proclaim the gospel, that does live the gospel, absolutely, that brings the good news. And in there, we talk about sin, certainly. But it's not our job to judge other people's sins. It's not my job to convict someone of sin. It's my job, it's your job to live the gospel, to preach the gospel, to tell the gospel, to tell our stories of Jesus. And as we develop those relationships and friendships, as we talked about on Sunday, and we're going to talk about enfolding this coming Sunday, I'm looking forward to that because that's going to talk about, we're going to think about, well, what's next? What's next in this process or in this experience of missional hospitality? And we're going to talk about the Holy Spirit. And again, who convicts of sin? It's not me. It's not you. It's the Holy Spirit. And I think that gives us great freedom and takes pressure off from us, doesn't it? As bearers of the gospel, as livers of the gospel, as lovers of God and lovers of people, and wanting to make disciples and join the Spirit's work of restoration. The Spirit convicts. We speak, we live, we engage in relationships, we love, but it's the Spirit who convicts and changes hearts in the course of those relationships and that missional hospitality that we've been thinking about. The Spirit convicts. I do not, you do not. I find that to be freeing and empowering, frankly, for us to go out and be and live and share the gospel. I hope that's encouraging to you too. Well, friends, boy, Sunday night, last week, what a gift that was. I loved hearing stories that I had not heard yet, that are not written down necessarily in the annals of Gibson Church. But how good to hear those stories that you had to share. And as I said at the end of the time, I was just struck again by the way that Gibson has always been for Lake Town and its community, always looked for opportunities to be gospel bringers, kingdom dwellers in the neighborhood and in the community. So that card that we've been handing out at the Felt Mansion for Lake Town, I love it that while that is a new articulation, that certainly is not a new spirit for Gibson. It is right in line with the DNA. And so I hope that we'll be able to continue that. I hope we'll continue to use that line of we are for Lake Town, because that really sums up a lot of the history of Gibson Church and the DNA that we find there, and what I think the Spirit is saying and how the Spirit is leading us into the future. What does it mean for us to continue to be for Lake Town? Seeking flourishing for our neighbors, bringing the kingdom. I love that. I love that, friends. Sunday night was so good. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your participation. It was such a great turnout. It was great to, again, hear the stories, to laugh, to share, and to be inspired into the future. So again, we'll add that to all of our listening that we've been doing, and we'll continue to talk about that as a leadership team and discern where the Spirit specifically is leading us to live into those realities. So, friends, I hope you have a great day today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, shalom.